What if the story of humanity is far older, stranger, and more complicated than anything written in our textbooks? What if beneath the sands of deserts, under collapsed mountains, or hidden in forbidden vaults of museums, lie traces of prehistoric humans, lost civilizations, and evolutionary mysteries that challenge everything we think we know? For more than a century, archaeology has tried to piece together the long journey of human evolution, from the Stone Age to the rise of Neanderthals, from Ice Age migrations to the first sparks of civilization. But what happens when evidence doesn't fit the accepted timeline? What happens when a discovery appears thousands or even millions of years too early? Most of these findings quietly disappear into footnotes, archived, disputed, or dismissed as impossible. Yet some archaeologists, explorers, and researchers, often working far from academic institutions, claim that the Earth is filled with anomalies, artifacts buried in geological layers that shouldn't exist, human footprints preserved alongside extinct animals, tools older than any known civilization, and mysterious structures scattered across the planet, as if built by hands we never learned about. This is forbidden archaeology, the evidence they don't want you to see. Not because of conspiracy alone, but because these discoveries challenge the comfortable story of progress, that humans slowly evolved, gradually became smarter, and step by step built the world we know today. In this episode, we will travel through deserts, caves, submerged ruins, and sealed archaeological vaults. We will revisit controversial discoveries that refuse to stay silent. We will explore ancient mysteries that blur the lines between science and legend, between evolution and forgotten civilizations. Prepare yourself, because once you question the official timeline, you may never see human history the same way again. To understand the strange world of forbidden archaeology, we must begin with the foundation of what mainstream science currently accepts: the established timeline of human evolution. According to the Standard Model, anatomically modern humans appeared around 300,000 years ago in Africa. Before them lived a branching family of prehistoric humans: Homo erectus, the Denisovans, Neanderthals, and several lesser-known cousins like Homo floresiensis and Homo naledi. These species migrated, hunted, survived the Ice Age, and interacted with one another, shaping the genetic landscape of humanity as we know it. Archaeology and anthropology agree on a few core ideas. Prehistoric humans were hunter-gatherers for most of their existence. Complex civilization, cities, writing, large-scale architecture, emerged only around 6,000 years ago. And anything older than this belongs to a world of simple stone tools and nomadic survival. But within this framework lie cracks, subtle, uncomfortable anomalies. Small discoveries that whisper of something else, something older, something forgotten. Let's begin with a few well-documented, though controversial, examples. In Latoli, Tanzania, archaeologists found 6 million-year-old footprints preserved in volcanic ash. Officially, they were created by Australopithecus, an early hominin. But the shape of some prints, especially in the lesser-known trails, resembles the gait of modern humans far too closely. A debate erupted. Were these truly from primitive hominins, or did another species walk here long before Homo sapiens appeared? The question remains unresolved. In Mexico, the discovery of stone tools in the Chiquihuit cave suggested human presence as early as 30,000 years earlier than the accepted timeline. Many scientists rejected the idea outright. Impossible, they said. Humans weren't supposed to be there yet. But carbon dating and stratified layers painted a stubborn picture. If the tools were truly made by humans, then our species reached the Americas long before the Ice Age migrations we learned about in school. Then there are the out-of-place artifacts, objects found in geological layers far too ancient for human activity. A metal sphere in South Africa, dated to nearly 3 billion years old, with perfect grooves carved around its center. hammer embedded in rock that formed more than 100 million years ago. Or the Nampa figurine, a tiny human-shaped sculpture found deep underground in Idaho, extracted from layers dating to the Pliocene epoch. Mainstream archaeologists have explanations for each of these. Intrusive layers, geological distortions, natural formations mistaken for artificial ones. Most of these explanations are reasonable. Some are even convincing, but others raise questions instead of closing them. Controversial sites like Göbekli Tepe in southeastern Turkey add even more pressure to the official timeline. The site is at least 12,000 years old, built long before agriculture, yet filled with sophisticated stone pillars arranged in circles, decorated with intricate reliefs of animals. Its builders were supposedly simple hunter-gatherers, yet here stands a monumental temple complex more advanced than the earliest cities. If humans had the intelligence, engineering skill, and symbolic thinking to build Göbekli Tepe during the Ice Age, what else were they capable of? Similarly, the underwater ruins of Yonaguni off the coast of Japan lie submerged beneath the Pacific, shaped with straight angles and terraces reminiscent of architecture. Some researchers argue it is natural erosion. Others insist human hands carved it during a time when sea levels were far lower, possibly 14,000 years ago. And underneath the jungle canopy of Guatemala, lighter scans have revealed sprawling networks of ancient Maya infrastructure, roads, reservoirs, city grids, far larger and more complex than ever imagined. If such advanced structures were hidden for millennia, how many more lost civilizations might be waiting beneath sand, ice, or ocean? The story of human evolution is not a straight ladder, but a tangled forest of possibilities. Archaeology has only scratched the surface, and every year new discoveries force revisions of timelines once thought unshakable. But this is where forbidden archaeology begins, with discoveries that don't fit, findings that challenge our assumptions and provoke scientific discomfort. It's important to clarify. Not all suppressed or controversial artifacts point to advanced prehistoric civilizations, nor do they require conspiracies. Many anomalies arise because the past is messy, fragile, and difficult to interpret. Dating methods have margins of error. Stratigraphic layers can shift. Human perception can be biased. Yet the pattern remains. Each time an object, skeleton, or structure appears to fall out of place, the discussion often becomes heated. Some scientists defend the existing chronology fiercely. Others argue for reinterpretation. And in the middle stands the public, caught between awe and confusion. Why does the timeline matter so much? Because the accepted chronology is not only a story of what happened, it is a story of who we are. If humans built complex structures earlier than believed, it means our capacity for innovation emerged much sooner. If Homo sapiens spread across continents tens of thousands of years before the official narrative suggests, it changes our understanding of migration, adaptation, and survival. And if multiple lost civilizations existed and were destroyed by climate change, rising seas, or catastrophic events, then the rise of civilization becomes a cycle, not a single miracle. The deeper we dig, the more we find echoes of lives that refuse to fit neatly into the box of prehistoric humans. Footprints in ancient ash, tools left in impossible caves, stones that whisper of forgotten engineers, bones carrying the genetic fingerprints of Neanderthals, Denisovans, and other human cousins who vanished into mystery. Welcome to the crossroads of archaeology, where science meets the unknown. Imagine walking through a quiet desert valley at dusk. The wind is cold, the sky burns gold, and the ground beneath you is layered with millions of years of Earth's history. Now imagine picking up a stone, just a stone, and noticing strange grooves carved into its surface. At first glance, it looks like a tool. Not extraordinary. But then, imagine learning that the layer of sediment it came from is nearly 300,000 years too old for Homo sapiens. This is exactly how some of the world's strangest archaeological controversies begin. 1. The tools that should not exist. Our first journey takes us to a category of anomalies that archaeologists simply call O, O, P, A, out-of-place artifacts. In Hueyatlaco, Mexico, geologist Virginia Steen McIntyre uncovered stone tools buried in volcanic ash layers nearly 250,000 years old. According to conventional understanding, modern humans weren't even close to existing at that time, and Neanderthals were still hundreds of thousands of years in the future. When Steen McIntyre published her findings, she didn't receive applause. She received silence, and then resistance. The scientific journals wouldn't accept her paper. Grants were withdrawn. Her career was nearly destroyed, not necessarily because she was wrong, but because her findings contradicted the accepted timeline. But the artifacts remained. Sharp-edged tools, scrapers, blades, all consistent with early human craftsmanship, yet impossibly old. Were they misdated? Possibly. Were they the work of another hominin species? Perhaps. Or do they hint at a forgotten branch of prehistoric humans, a branch we have not yet discovered? 2. The human footprints in stone. Next, we travel to Lamy, Utah, a landscape rich with fossilized impressions from ancient ecosystems. There, explorers claim to have found what looks like human footprints fossilized in rock layers dating back to the Carboniferous period, more than 300 million years ago. Mainstream scientists argue these are coincidental formations created by erosion. And yes, nature is capable of shaping rock in astonishing ways. But the problem is not the existence of one questionable footprint. It is the existence of several, each with a morphology eerily similar to ours. Are they real? The evidence is debated. But the questions remain. Our official timeline tells us that prehistoric humans evolved only recently. Yet the ground whispers older stories. 3. The mystery of the Nampa figurine. From stone footprints, we venture into the realm of the strange with the Nampa figurine, discovered in 1889 in Idaho. The artifact was pulled from a well drilling operation at a depth of over 90 meters, below layers dated to the Pliocene epoch, roughly 2 million years old. The figurine is small, carefully shaped, unmistakably human in form, and finely crafted. Its existence at such a depth challenges everything we know about human evolution. The initial reaction was disbelief. Critics claimed contamination, fraud, or misidentification. Yet geological studies of the surrounding sediments support the original dating. The figurine should not exist. But it does. Was it dropped into the ground artificially? Was it misinterpreted? Or does it signal that prehistoric humans, or beings very similar to us, existed long before our official emergence? 4. Giants of the past. Myth or reality? Across North America, news reports from the late 19th and early 20th centuries described the discovery of giant human skeletons, some measuring over 2 meters tall, buried in strange mound structures created by ancient tribes. Newspapers archived at the time described Smithsonian excavations, uncovering unusually large skeletons with elongated skulls, massive femurs, and unusual dental patterns. Most of these skeletons vanished into storage, were lost, or were claimed to be fraudulent. But the mound-building cultures of pre-Columbian America, the Adena, Hopewell, and Mississippians, left behind art and surviving oral histories describing tall ones, sky people, or ancestors of great size. Was this exaggeration? Myth-making? Or did a long-lost branch of prehistoric humans thrive in ancient North America, only to disappear without a trace? 5. Göbekli Tepe and the death of the old timeline. No single discovery has shaken archaeology more than Göbekli Tepe. Buried for thousands of years beneath a dusty Turkish hillside, It burst into the spotlight in the late 1990s when archaeologist Klaus Schmidt realized what he was looking at. Massive stone circles, T-shaped pillars weighing tons, intricate animal carvings, astronomical alignments. And the most shocking part? It is more than 12,000 years old, older than Stonehenge, older than the pyramids, older than agriculture itself. This changes everything. According to the established timeline, hunter-gatherers at this time were supposed to be primitive, nomadic, and incapable of large-scale architecture. Yet here stood a monumental temple complex that required planning, organization, a labor force, and a symbolic cosmology. It suggests one thing: prehistoric humans were far more intelligent, more organized, and more advanced than previously thought. And if Göbekli Tepe is real, and it is, then what else has been buried, forgotten, or dismissed? 6. Underwater civilizations lost to the sea. In the depths of the Indian Ocean lies Dwarka, a submerged site with stone structures that resemble ancient walls, roads, and possible harbor installations. Carbon dating of artifacts found there suggests ages beyond 9,000 years, another blow to the official timeline. Similarly, off the coast of Japan, the Yonaguni Monument sits silently beneath the waves. Terraces, ramps, and stair-like formations carved into rock. Are these natural? Perhaps. But divers report sharp geometric angles and tool-like markings that push the debate forward. During the Ice Age, sea levels were 120 meters lower. Entire coastlines, a home to early humans, vanished beneath rising seas. If civilizations existed along those ancient shores, their traces now lie hidden in the ocean depths. This is the first pillar of forbidden archaeology. Evidence that prehistoric humans were older, more widespread, and more advanced than we imagine. This is where our journey into the unknown truly begins. If the first pillar revealed ancient anomalies hidden beneath layers of earth, the second pillar reveals something even more unsettling: evidence that contradicts our most sacred archaeological beliefs and the intellectual battles that erupt around them. Forbidden archaeology isn't just about strange discoveries. It's about the clash between evidence and interpretation, between open-minded exploration and the rules of scientific orthodoxy. 1. The academic dilemma. When evidence breaks the narrative, science is built on skepticism, yes, but it is also built on patterns, consensus, and stable frameworks. When a discovery threatens to rewrite the entire story of human evolution, it meets resistance, not out of malice, but because entire careers, theories, and institutions depend on maintaining coherence. This is why so many impossible discoveries receive the same treatment. They're dismissed as mistakes before they're studied as possibilities. Take the mysterious Denisovans, for example. Just a few years ago, they were completely unknown. A single finger bone found in a cave in Siberia changed everything, revealing a lost branch of prehistoric humans, genetically closer to Neanderthals but distinct enough to rewrite the human family tree. If one fragment of bone can reshape the entire narrative, what else could? 2. The Tijuanaco puzzle. Too old, too precise, too advanced? High in the Bolivian Altiplano, at an altitude where breathing becomes difficult, sits the ancient city of Tiwanaku and its enigmatic sister structure, Pumapunku. These ruins have long puzzled archaeologists for several reasons. The stones are carved with machine-like precision. Some blocks weigh over 100 tons, dragged across miles with no known technology. Many features seem older than the culture that supposedly built them. Radiocarbon dating of organic material at the site suggests human activity dating back as far as 15,000 years, long before the earliest civilizations in this region. Mainstream scholars argue the dating refers to early habitation, not construction. But the question remains: who carved these impossible stones? And what happened to them? 3. The Ice Age cities beneath the world's deserts. The Sahara was not always a desert. 12,000 years ago, at the end of the Ice Age, it was a green savanna filled with rivers, lakes, and thriving prehistoric humans. Today, buried beneath dunes, researchers find megalithic structures, astronomical markers, stone circles resembling proto-observatories, ancient hearths, tools, and carved rock art. One site, Nabta Playa, is aligned with stars in the same manner as Stonehenge, yet it is thousands of years older. If prehistoric tribes in the Sahara were mapping the heavens at that time, how advanced were they? 4. Genetic ghosts. Lost humans in our blood. The human genome carries echoes of ancient encounters. We share up to 4% of our DNA with Neanderthals. Some populations carry up to 6% Denisovan DNA. But here is the forbidden part. Researchers have found genetic signatures belonging to unknown archaic humans, a species that has never been identified in the fossil record. A ghost species. A missing population. A branch of prehistoric humans that once existed, thrived, interbred with us, and vanished. Why is this significant? Because it implies our evolutionary story is not only incomplete, it is fragmented. There may have been civilizations, migrations, and entire populations erased by climate disasters, volcanic eruptions, sea level rise, disease competition, or catastrophic events we have yet to uncover. 5. The clash. Science versus speculation. Whenever forbidden archaeology is discussed, academia responds with a predictable list of objections. Dating error, you measured the wrong layer. Intrusive burial, the object slipped into a younger sediment. Misinterpretation, that's not a human artifact, it's a rock. Fraud, someone faked it. Contamination, the context is unreliable. Most of these explanations are valid in many cases. Archaeology is fragile. Context is everything. But the issue is not one anomalous tool or a single skeleton. It is the pattern, the accumulation of discoveries that collectively strain the boundaries of the official narrative. A single anomaly can be dismissed. 100 anomalies form a question mark. 1,000 anomalies demand a rethinking of human evolution. 6. The forbidden question. Were there lost civilizations before us? This is the question mainstream archaeology avoids the most, not because it is impossible, but because the evidence is scattered, partial, and unsettling. Consider, massive meltwater floods at the end of the Ice Age could have erased entire coastal civilizations. Rising sea levels swallowed over 20 million square kilometers of land worldwide, places where early humans likely lived. According to geology, the Earth has gone through many cycles of climate stability, followed by catastrophic collapse. Stories of ancient floods, sky gods, and lost golden ages appear in nearly every culture. Could these be memories, distorted, mythologized, but real? The controversial Younger Dryas impact hypothesis suggests that around 12,800 years ago, Earth was struck by fragments of a comet, triggering wildfires, extinction events, and the collapse of Ice Age ecosystems. If true, such a catastrophe could erase a civilization. Not necessarily as advanced as ours, but advanced enough to leave behind stone structures, myths, and scattered artifacts. This theory is still debated fiercely, but it echoes the strange truth revealed by forbidden archaeology. Human history is not a straight line. It is a cycle of rising, falling, and rising again. 7. The unanswered questions. At the heart of forbidden archaeology lie questions that defy easy answers. Why do advanced structures appear suddenly, with no developmental stages beneath them? Why do megalithic sites across continents share similar engineering techniques? Why do ancient myths speak of forgotten ages, gods descending from the sky, or sudden global destruction? Why do genetic studies reveal ghost populations we've never uncovered in the ground? How many ancient cities lie beneath oceans, deserts, jungles, and ice sheets? And most importantly, have we truly uncovered the first civilization or the last survivors of a world before ours? Forbidden archaeology is not about proving a conspiracy. It is about embracing the possibility that prehistory is deeper, richer, and more mysterious than we ever imagined. After exploring the anomalies, the debates, the missing chapters of human evolution, one question remains. What does any of this mean for us, modern humans living thousands of years after these prehistoric mysteries unfolded? It might be tempting to dismiss forbidden archaeology as nothing more than strange stories, ancient puzzles, or archaeological footnotes. But buried within these mysteries are profound lessons about who we are, where we came from, and where we might be heading. Archaeology is not just about fossils and stones. It is about identity. It is about survival. It is about the fragile and powerful journey of human consciousness. 1. The fragility of civilization. If one theme echoes across forbidden archaeology, it is this: civilizations rise and civilizations fall. Göbekli Tepe shows us that an organized society flourished at the end of the Ice Age and then vanished. The abandoned cities beneath the Sahara whisper of thriving cultures swallowed by climate collapse. Submerged ruins along ancient coastlines remind us that entire worlds disappeared when sea levels rose. Climate change is not new. Environmental destruction is not new. Human resilience and human vulnerability is as old as prehistoric humans themselves. We often tell ourselves that modern civilization is permanent, strong, and unshakable. But the Ice Age cultures once thought the same. The builders of vanished coastal cities once thought the same. The mysterious societies that mapped the stars in ancient deserts once believed their world would last forever. And yet, they fell. This is not a prophecy of doom. It is a reminder to stay humble and to recognize the importance of adaptation, innovation, and cooperation, the same traits that allowed prehistoric humans to survive the harshest environments Earth ever created. 2. The resilience hidden in our DNA. Human evolution is not a linear story of progress. It is a saga of trial and error, of survival and rebirth, of collaboration between species. We carry the genes of Neanderthals, the strength of Denisovans, and fragments of unknown ghost ancestors. This means we are not the product of a single line of evolution. We are the survivors of a tangled web of prehistoric humans, each contributing something essential. Neanderthals gifted us immunity and resilience in cold climates. Denisovans gave high-altitude adaptations to Tibetan populations. Unknown ancestors, perhaps long lost, gifted traits we still do not fully understand. Every breath we take, every heartbeat, carries the legacy of beings who endured volcanic winters, massive floods, ice age predators, and unimaginable hardships. Forbidden archaeology teaches us this. We come from survivors, and we are built to survive. 3. Curiosity is humanity's oldest technology. Another lesson buried in forbidden archaeology is the power of curiosity. Long before writing, agriculture, or architecture, prehistoric humans stared at the sky, mapped the stars, carved symbols, and asked questions. Curiosity is what allowed them to navigate oceans. Curiosity is what pushed them to explore new continents. Curiosity is what helped them unlock fire, tools, art, and language. The builders of Göbekli Tepe didn't need practical reasons to carve massive pillars and gather in circles aligned with the heavens. They were driven by wonder, the same spark that fuels modern science. Today, curiosity is often dismissed as impractical, but it is the root of progress, discovery, innovation, and meaning. 4. Myths are memories of the deep past. Ancient stories, flood myths, sky gods, golden ages, lost worlds. appear across nearly every culture. Mainstream archaeology sees them as fiction. Forbidden archaeology suggests another possibility. What if myths are distorted memories of real prehistoric events? The end of the Ice Age brought rising oceans and catastrophic floods. Volcanic eruptions darkened the skies. Meteors impacted the Earth. Entire ecosystems shifted overnight. Prehistoric humans would have told these stories to their children. Who told them to their children? Who wove them into the myths, legends, and beliefs that became cultural foundations. Today, when we read myths of a drowned world, or a fire that fell from the sky, or a civilization lost to the sea, we may be hearing echoes of events witnessed by our ancestors 12,000 years ago. These myths remind us that humans do not just record history in stones and tools, we record it in stories, in symbols, in memory. 5. The importance of questioning authority. Forbidden archaeology also reveals something uncomfortable. Knowledge is shaped by power. This doesn't require a conspiracy. It is simply human nature. Institutions protect consensus. Academics defend their theories. Societies cling to familiar narratives. But truth often lies beyond the boundaries of accepted belief. For centuries, scholars insisted Trojans were mythical until a city was uncovered in Turkey. They insisted ancient humans never reached the Americas until footprints proved they did. They insisted Neanderthals were brutish cavemen until evidence showed they painted caves, buried their dead, and made jewelry. The story of archaeology is the story of old ideas falling to new discoveries, again and again. Forbidden archaeology encourages us not to reject science, but to keep science alive by asking better questions. 6. The continuity between past and future. Finally, forbidden archaeology invites us to reflect on a deeper truth. We are not the beginning of civilization, and we might not be the end. Humanity's journey is long, fragile, and filled with cycles of creation and destruction. If prehistoric civilizations rose before us, then we inherit not only their survival, but their responsibility to build, to protect, to learn, to question, to remember, and to prepare for the challenges that toppled the worlds before ours: climate shifts, cosmic events, or our own potential hubris. In this way, forbidden archaeology is not just about looking backward. It is about looking forward, with humility, curiosity, and courage. We began this journey with a question. What if the story of humanity is older, stranger, and far more mysterious than we've been told? After exploring the clues, the impossible artifacts, the out-of-place fossils, the submerged ruins, the lost branches of prehistoric humans, and the myths echoing through time, one truth becomes clear. Our past is not a straight line. It is a labyrinth. Mainstream archaeology has given us a powerful framework for understanding prehistoric humans: human evolution, Neanderthals, the Ice Age, and the rise of civilization. But forbidden archaeology reveals the cracks, the uncertainties, and the unexplored shadows between those chapters. It asks us to consider possibilities that challenge our assumptions: that prehistoric humans were more intelligent, more widespread, and more innovative than we imagined; that civilizations may have risen and fallen long before the first city of Sumer; that our genetic code carries echoes of lost relatives who vanished without leaving bones behind; that ancient deserts, jungles, oceans, and ice sheets may hide forgotten worlds waiting to be rediscovered; and perhaps most importantly, that history is not finished. There are still continents we have not mapped beneath the waves. There are still species we have not discovered hidden in our DNA. There are still tools, carvings, ruins, and stories waiting to surface. The final chapters of a book we thought we already understood. But forbidden archaeology does something even deeper. It reminds us that knowledge is not static. It grows, evolves, and sometimes forces us to rewrite everything. What does this mean for us today? It means that progress is fragile, that civilizations, no matter how advanced, can disappear. That curiosity is our oldest survival tool, that humility is essential, and that the greatest discoveries are still ahead. We are the descendants of Ice Age survivors, desert astronomers, star watchers, tool makers, and explorers. We stand on the shoulders of countless ancestors whose names we will never know. And now, for the first time in history, we possess the technology to uncover what they left behind, to scan jungles with lasers, to read DNA from fossils, to map the ocean floor, and to piece together the hidden chapters of human evolution. But the greatest discovery we can make is this: we do not know everything, and that is what makes our story extraordinary. So I leave you with a question, one that has no easy answer. Do we truly understand our origins, or are we just beginning to uncover a world far older than we ever imagined? Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you believe there were lost civilizations before ours? Do you think forbidden archaeology points to hidden chapters in human evolution? Or do these anomalies simply show how much more we still have to learn? If this journey into ancient mysteries inspired you, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow for more explorations into prehistory, evolution, archaeology, and the unsolved secrets of the human story. Our next episode will take you deeper into the ancient world than ever before. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and remember, the past is never truly buried.